Logan, it is wonderful to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on.
Oh, thanks for this opportunity. I think it's pretty cool.
Oh,
So,
the film is great. The film's a joy. Um, can you help me with the pronunciation, please? I really I don't want to butcher it of the film. Because obviously I before the sun, but is it I'm gonna butcher it. Can you help me with the pronunciation, please?
okay, so I actually don't even know how to pronounce it. Great. I feel so bad, but like, yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce it either.
Fair, that's fair. Um, well, we'll refer to it as before the sun. um, but it's an amazing story, and what is it like for you to see your world up on the big screen and your journey?
Um, it's just crazy because like reflecting back on it, like to start off that year, because the year was 2021, and like just starting off that year was just like kind of it wasn't really the greatest year at all. Like the only thing I was looking forward to was just racing horses. So looking back, I'm not even kidding. Like looking back at that time, like when I watch the film, I always kind of think like that was almost like one of the low points of my life, which is crazy to like look back on it. Like the only thing I was looking forward to was just racing the horses.
Let's talk about the horses. I would love to know or talk about your relationship with the horses because it is just wonderful to see these moments on screen. In fact, there were some of my favorite moments in the film, to be honest with you, is just you with the horses. And can you talk about that and what type of trust has to exist between you and your animals?
Um, I just try to like make sure like they're comfortable around me and most of the time I feel like Caffro, that's one of the main horses in the film. I feel like I know that horse like what's that expression? Like you know it like the back of your hand or something like that. Like with calf rope, that's how I know. Like I know calf rope with the back of my hand. So like with all the horses, like I tried to know them very well and just make them comfortable around me and just yeah, making sure that they're always comfortable no matter what they're doing. Like just make sure that they're happy. So
Now, is Cathrope the one that you say, because there's a point where you say that you're the only one that rides them. Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, yeah, that's calf rope. Yeah, the bay one. Mainly just because because in relay, like the first time I ever did a relay race, I was so frightened just because like I didn't know if like my horse was gonna stop like to come in for an exchange. So like that's what like got me so worried. But I remember the first time I did a relay race, I didn't know if my horse didn't feel like he was gonna stop, so I just kind of like jumped off and I like somersaulted and then yeah, so like I was just kind of like scared after that, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. And calf rope was like the one horse I could like trust 100% that will stop for an exchange all the time. So I feel like that's kind of why like I trust him so much too.
Yeah, the horses in this are wonderful, but I mean, you have this incredible spirit on screen, especially. And again, this may be a little bit awkward to have someone say this to you, and I'm just meeting you for the first time, but seeing you on screen, there's this wonderful spirit about you of courage and moving forward. Um, and I would love to talk to you too about what it was like for you to be the first female in such a male dominated sport. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's one of the races, one of the relays at the beginning of the film. I think you're the first one to ever participate. Is that right?
Um, so I was actually I remember seeing relay, like watching relay, because like I used to be a barrel racer before I did relay. So at the rodeos, they would have the relay events. This was like when I was like maybe like 12 years old, 11 years old. And there was a just a girl that dressed like a boy,
Mm.
and she doing the relays, but like she dressed like a boy, so I don't really think nobody really knew that she was a girl. But yeah, I remember seeing a few girls doing it, but it wasn't really like a big thing. Like relay was just like a side event to the rodeo. Like relay wasn't really big back then until like I don't like maybe till like after 2017, then like relay really grew. So yeah, so there was girls doing it before me, but like it just wasn't relay wasn't a huge sport back then. It wasn't really promoted. It was more like just like the track or no, the rodeos that had tracks.
Hmm.
They would host a relay event, but yeah, it was like nothing big back then. So
Well, one of the things we see in the film too is that things seem to be changing. Have you noticed it change even more over that, with more women being involved or interested in relay?
yeah, I know it's really starting to grow in Canada. Like back then, um, well, like back in the day, like the ladies' races would be done with saddles, and then like in Canada, it would be like everyone was racing with a saddle, but like there'd be like two or three of us that were racing without it. And then now you just see like this younger generation of like young women that are racing bareback. And I think it's really awesome to see all these girls racing bareback because I feel like I almost waited like I've been doing this. I think this will be my 8th year, so it took like 8 years almost to see like a full not no saddle ladies race, which is really awesome. And now that they're starting to have the ladies relay, um there's like before like I had to find someone to race against me. Now that there's interest, like there's gonna be like two heats rather than just two girls racing on the track. So like yeah, it's pretty cool to see the sport grow. And I'm
I
just yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
really proud of like this younger generation that's continuing it. So I'm just really happy to see that.
I think that's awesome. I think that's so great. Um, with that being said, with that being said, one of the things you say towards the end of the film, it says that you um, that you wait, let me get this right. The past version of me, I'm better than her now. I was just wondering what you would say to your younger self and what that means to be better than your past version.
What would I say to my younger self? I just say keep doing what I'm doing because you're only getting better. Yeah, doing what you're doing. Like what I was doing in the film, yeah, during that year, that 2021 year, I'm still doing it now, which is crazy. So like one thing when I watch the film, I always hear like I try run 10 kilometers every day. So whenever I watch that, I'm just like, holy, like I feel like I set the standard really high for myself. So now I'm just like trying to have that mentality of trying to run like the 10 kilometers every day. Like 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 I feel like I'm just trying to be like the past version of myself too because I felt like back then I set the standard so high and now I got to keep that standard high kind of or like just keep the same routines going almost.
So
But
the past version of yourself is pushing you now.
yeah, yeah, that's how it kind of feels.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things too about the film that I really loved is at one point you say that being strong people is just part of being native. And I thought that was an incredible statement. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and tell me what you mean, what that means to you.
um so my apologies for being late for the podcast. So one of the oh no, I was waiting for here, I'll kind of I'm just using my phone. Is it flip it? Oh yes. Okay. So this is my classroom. I am taking chemistry 30 right now. And so this classroom was or the school I'm in is a was a residential school. So yeah, this is old song. I forgot what it's called, but it's one of the residential schools in Sixiga that they turned into a college. So, the classroom I'm in right now was actually a girls' dormitory, and I remember my grandma said that like it's like my grandma attended school here, residential school here, and the tour, there's just a bunch of, I think, maybe junior high kids coming in, and to hear the lady, like, explain that this was the girls' dormitory, that, like, some of the priests and nuns would come in and just, like, abuse them, like, would just come in and, like, hit them, or, like, the lady that was giving the tour, she said that, like, they would come in and just, like, abuse them, like, hit them, or, like, for kinda no reason almost. So, I remember hearing my grandmother's stories like that they would, like, get hit with, like, rulers, or get, like, or they would just get hit or, like, abused. So, I feel like that, like, it's almost, how would I explain it? Um, it's just, like, the trauma that they went through, it feels like it's almost passed down through generations. So, yeah, it's just, like, we're still overcoming the residential school, and, yeah, just like that, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just feel like residential school is a part of the reason, like, why we have to be strong people is, like, I this is hard to word. Sorry.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
But thank you. Um, it's just we're still trying to overcome the traumas, and yeah, I sorry, I just don't know how to answer that one.
It's totally fair. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned your grandmother. I love how much you talk about her in this film. I think it's really wonderful, and you even talk about you're asking your grandmother to watch over you. I'm just wondering about how much that relationship means to you in as you continue on in what you're doing.
Um, that relationship. So my grandma was she was like a seamstress. She made like powwow outfits, regalia, and so like I my dad, well, my like in the film, I pretty much stole like my dad's jerseys and everything. And then he went to another race and he just had t-shirts. So he was kind of like mad at me. So he's like, "You have to make your own shirts." And I was like, "Okay." But like it was the COVID year and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to take full advantage, learn how to sew." And then my dad would like watch me trying to learn how to sew and he's like, "Gee, you really remind me of grandma." He's like, "You really remind me of my mom." And then I would bead, and then yeah, same thing. He'd be like, "You really remind me of grandma." And yeah, I just feel like trying to live on, or no, just trying to, or no, some of my relatives too, they would say like almost like sewing and beading is like what the women in our family always did. So just to pass on something that she did is something that I'm proud of. So, but it's just kind of sad because I know if she was still around, if she was still here, that she would. Okay, I'm kind of lazy. She would probably make the jerseys for me rather than teach me how. But yeah. So it would have been really cool if she was around to teach me the like her ways of how to sew and how to bead. But yeah, my grandma would always be there. Like she'd always be there when we left for the race. Like, "See you, grandma. We're gonna go wherever." And she'll be like, "Good luck." And we'll back. She'll be like, "How'd you do? Whether like we won or we lost." She was always proud of us.
Mm,
And yeah.
I
So
appreciate
whether oh sorry,
that.
yeah, whether we took a champion, she was proud. Whether we got last, she was proud. Whether I fell off, if I fell off, I don't know. I never told her if I fell off, so I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Well, I think at one point you say you've got the reputation of the girl who falls off, but you're also known as the one who gets back up. I love that. Um, it's and honestly, Logan, the film is wonderful. I really think it's a special piece. What do you hope people take away from it?
Um, what do I hope for people to take away with it? Some of these questions are always really hard. Um, just take good care of your horses and always try your best. And just when you try your best, see how far it'll get you.
I love that.
Mm. Yeah.
Did I cut you off? I didn't know if I did there or not.
No. Sorry, this is such a short answer.
No, it's great. Thank you. Honestly, Logan, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. I wish you the best, and I really wish you the best of the festival as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. It
Okay.
was a good podcast.